Welcome everyone to another edition of News and Views. My name is Elmira. I am your host. Today's story is how Deanwood was built. In the event you don't know about Deanwood, Deanwood is a black, well, historically black community because there are other people who live there in DC, Washington, DC. The District of Columbia is on the northeast. We will examine and break down how this community was built with four distinct components. The first one, the look. What does it look like? Number two, the money. Number three, the fun. And then number four, how does this connect to you? Let's hop into it. Want to show you a clip behind the scenes of Deanwood, and this is a recent video which is detailing how this community was established so many years ago.
So we're standing on the historic land of Nanny Helen Burroughs. She built a training school for girls, and it was just a variety of trades that was taught in her school that helped a lot of people. It helped the neighborhood and the community to survive.
All right, so now we're headed toward First Baptist on Sheriff Road for the last 100 years. Many of our community's original residents were small business owners, contractors, skilled labormen, masons, that sort of thing.
This is good to point out. A lot of the original inhabitants were business owners, masons, all of that. I have masons in my family, and I'm talking masonry. We know there's roots of that term in the Masons, like the 33rd degree Masons, but I'm actually talking about construction workers. One of my, I would call him an in-law, Mr. Johnson, was a Mason. My uncle on my mom's side, James C. Pemberton, construction company in Richmond, Virginia. I know what, so this is the roots of community like this. Use this story today to examine the roots of some primarily black communities in your city, in your area.
So we had a very independent community from an economic development perspective. So in the early 1900s, we had a streetcar. That streetcar, that infrastructure made it possible for our business to thrive. And then we had an amusement park connected to our streetcar system along with our Strand Theater. This was the quintessential. There's so many famous artists that came through. To my left is Marvin Gaye Park. This is the location famously where Marvin Gaye would perform when he visited his aunt in our neighborhood every summer. All the land that you see from this corner up and over.
Okay, I gotta pause on that too, because Marvin Gaye, who don't like Marvin Gaye? Mr. Sexual Healing. I used to sing a Marvin Gaye song, Heard It Through the Grapevine. I know it's not originally by him, but you see here, he would visit this community on most summers. This is so cool, y'all. Like, I get so hype about history.
Was owned by probably about 30 or 40 families that were members of the Deanwood churches. And specifically in this case, this would be First Baptist Church. The original structure and the land that it's on was donated by families to the church. And from that, First Baptist was able to build a school.
Sheriff Road is actually known as Church Row. Every other block, there is a church. And this is the chapel that was designed by George Ferguson, who was an African-American architect. It is in such disarray, it just brings tears to my eyes to see the condition. Deanwood is important in regards to African-American architects because the churches that were built, 95% of them, were designed by pioneering architects such.
You hear that? Those churches on Church Row, Sheriff Road, the chapel, all of these homes built by the architects. That's the look. Some of them, and we're going to get to him shortly, and speaking more about Howard Dilworth Woodson. He was a civil engineer, architect, community pioneer. There was also Lewis Giles Sr. and Roscoe Vaughn. This just some of the names of the architects here in Deanwood. They created this unique look of the community. This is their art. One of the root words of the word architecture is art. Sometimes I believe we miss that because we see it as more of an engineering project, but I know the listeners here, you all don't miss that piece. Architect. They are the builders. They are the, we got to get back to building more stuff or even refashioning some of these things like the lady spoke here. That chapel is in disarray. Who is going to refurbish that chapel? Who's going to make their project, or maybe rebuild the chapel in a new way, rebuild some new communities? That's what it's about, how Deanwood was built.
As Lewis Wentworth Giles, H.G. Woodson, Roscoe Vaughn. The architects wanted to make sure that where they lived represented their profession. They designed anywhere from Victorian revival homes, craftsman homes, single family, modest, but nevertheless, they were homes that African Americans could afford at the time.
To my right, you see these homes. Many of these homes were built by the architects and construction, all black contractors, all minority contractors working with minorities. You see a lot of historic structures that were built by the original builders of this community who are architects.
Wow, that building, let me scroll back. This church, I believe this is a church. Phenomenal. Never seen a church like this, and I've traveled to a lot of cities. Have you seen anything like this? This is how Deanwood was built. This the architects, their minds, their ingenuity, their skill, their talent as engineers, the geometry, what they wanted to see, what they wanted to live in, the environment they wanted to curate.
By the original builders of this community who are architects. DC was built by these people.
There's just too much history. Our structures need to be saved to pass on to future generations.
All right, there you have it. That was from courtesy, and I want to give nod to WETA PBS to speak further about what she said. Our structures need to be preserved. Sometimes too many of us talk about these things but don't do anything about these things. That is one thing that irks me. It's like, oh, we should save this, we should do this, but we put our money in other areas. We put our time, we put our energy and our efforts in other areas. And then when you look up, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years have passed, and you can really see what we truly and authentically care about. I can tell you from the looks of things, the majority of the people still care about Deanwood. That was the look. The look was established by these high level architects led by Howard Dilworth Woodson. Now let's talk money, because how was all of this stuff funded? With my research, I discovered the dollar bank. Had never heard about the dollar bank. But let me pause right there because I got to tell you something. The reason this story came about, I was in my meditation, and in meditation, I always get downloads and channels, and one of the things was I wonder, because I was thinking about amusement parks, and I these stories often begin with a question. I'm so inquisitive. The question was, has there ever been a black amusement park? It's summertime, then was led to Suburban Gardens. I'm like, okay, what's Suburban Gardens? Where is it? They say, oh, it existed in DC from what years? It was around the 20s, like 1921 to 1940. I was like, oh, then I started digging because you gotta dig some more. Discovered Deanwood because I was like, where would that amusement park be right now? Deanwood is the community, and it described the architects who built it. We'll get to that later when we talk about the fun. But this is how the story came about. Being curious. Then it was like, okay, now where did the funding come from? Let's talk about that real quick, because there's a place called Dollar Bank, which is still in existence across many states. Let's share. Okay. Dollar Bank, this is my research here. Dollar Bank and Woodson family. The Woodson family holds historical significance for Dollar Bank, as they were among the institution's pioneering African American customers in the 19th century Pittsburgh. So this links Pittsburgh with Washington, D.C., because we know they're not that far away. In February 1860, Dollar Bank issued its first ever mortgage to an African American, John L. Woodson. From my knowledge, this would have been Howard's grandfather, but we'll get to this because I may be incorrect, or you all can correct me who the relationship John L. Woodson. The Woodson family's legacy with Dollar Bank and its Pittsburgh is tied to several notable milestones and figures. John, the eldest son of patriarch Lewis, he secured an $850 mortgage. Think about this. This was the whole mortgage for the entire home. Gosh, today, and one of my brothers is a real estate agent. Gosh, today you got to secure a half a million mortgage to get a reputable, valuable home. I just saw my brother list a home for almost half a million in Richmond, Virginia yesterday. And that's a basic home, because that's about how much the cost of living has increased. Lewis Woodson, an ardent abolitionist, businessman, educator, and minister who guided fugitive slaves on the Underground Railroad. He opened his personal savings account with Dollar Bank in 1857. Oh, something I discovered about Dollar Bank, the reason it got its name during its inception is that anybody can open an account with $1. Now it's $50, but think about that. All you had to do was bring $1 and you could get an account. Imagine if that was so today. He opened personal savings account, and then in 1832 he also co-founded Pittsburgh first school for African American children. How about that? The Woodson family, also got to point out, this Woodson family, from my research, is not related to Carter G. Woodson, so do not confuse the two. Just like we have a lot of families named Johnson, Black, Jones, they not the same people, but it shows you the power behind this name, because Carter G. Woodson was the first one who started the what Negro History Week is what it was called back in the day, now Black History Month. Carolyn Woodson, wife of Lewis, she and her daughters operated a millinery, made wigs. Oh, I'm wearing one of them. Thank God for them. I get to wear my wig today. Y'all know we gotta make the news funny. And started a ladies' hair salon, cementing the Woodsons as a prominent Black entrepreneurial family in the area. They're giving you more context. Okay, I gotta know, because I gotta ask about this. What is the relationship between Howard Woodson and what's his name? John? Yeah, and John Woodson. We gotta know. Gemini gonna tell us. And it's Gemini season 2. Or it already ended, but it was Gemini season. Alright, so they were father and son, so we were correct. In the direct branch of the family that relocated to Washington, D.C., so they moved from Pittsburgh to D.C., Howard Dilworth was the father of John. Wait a minute, I'm confused. John was the oldest son, but they saying maybe this is a rename, just like in my family. I'm confused, y'all. We figuring this out together. John was okay. So Howard, 1876 to 1962. He died in 1962. Notable civil engineer. He was one of the builders of Deanwood. He graduated from the University of Pittsburgh and became a major civic leader in Washington, D.C. Oh, yeah, the high school is named after him. John was Howard's youngest son who grew up to become a professional oceanographer. Oh, let me tell you something. This might be a tangent, but it's not. Was listening to Booker T. Coleman, also known as Kaba Kamene, the other day. He said oceanography is a profession we should go into. Instead of doing space exploration, there's more to be discovered under the ocean than there is above the ground. So that's just a little pin. Put that in a pin because that oceanography that John Woodson did could be your ticket to building your own community. All these new discoveries. But John was doing this back then in the 1800s, early 1900s. Okay, they're saying when tracing back to the 19th century with Dollar Bank, Howard D. Woodson was the first cousin once removed of John L. Woods. Ooh, so he the first cousin once removed. All the genealogists, and we had a genealogist on the channel. He'll be hype about this. Derek will be hype about this. So John was the oldest son of Lewis. Again, he received the first mortgage. Granville was John's younger brother. I feel like I need to do a family tree or write out. You know how when the coach on the basketball team or the football team write out the play? That's what I feel like I need to do right here. Because I'm trying to organize it in my head, but a lot of times I need to see this on paper. Granville became the father of Howard. Oh, making Howard the net. Oh, I see. Okay, so they all in the family, the cousins and everybody. Okay, we're gonna explore Dollar Bank. I want to go here to still on the page of Dollar Bank. It says, "Let's get you there." That's their slogan. African American customers 1855 through the 1900s. Because remember, this is how Deanwood was built. Where did they get the money? Where did the inhabitants, the architects, the people get the money? Thousands of African Americans in Pittsburgh region opened savings accounts with Dollar Bank. They were laborers, ministers, teachers, soldiers, housewives, small business owners, and pioneering professionals. As family put down roots, their relationship with Dollar Bank sometimes spanned generations. Listen to this. A number of family names carry across decades of Dollar Bank's records. Woodson, Proctor, Golden, Crunkleton, Googans, Gibson, Burley. Some of you reading this may be your people. The names in Dollar Bank's ledgers reveal an early African American community strong with churches, social and literary clubs, sports teams, businesses, and mutual aid societies. First, from Dollar Bank. Founding in July 1855, the bank made no restrictions on who could open a savings account. All were welcome. So even though there were some other stipulations in the South, all of these things with Jim Crow and the Civil War hadn't even been started or ended by here, they let anybody open a savings account. Born in Richmond, Virginia. Oh, that's my people. What? See the connection? Okay, born in Richmond, everything on the East Coast connected. We're all connected across the world anyway. Born in Richmond, Virginia in 1812, Alfred A. Gibson became Dollar Bank's first African American depositor when he opened his savings account on November the 13th, 1855. So that's not too long after the bank's opening. Look, July 1855, November 1855, Alfred opens his account. He listed his occupation as a porter on a boat. In 1860, he opened a second. Oh, but he was rolling in the dough. By that time, he was a porter at the Monongahela House, one of the most celebrated hotels in Pittsburgh. Ooh, that sounds fancy. Gibson, his wife Maria, that's my middle name, and their four children lived in the Hill District. Oldest son, Alfred, a barber, so this is a junior, y'all know they be keeping the names in the family, opened a savings account with Dollar Bank in 1872. So you see here, it carries down. Look at that. This is his account signature. So cool. First mortgage. Dollar Bank's first mortgage issued to an African American was February 1860 to John L. Woodson, who was the cousin of Howard Woodson, based in Deanwood. John paid off his $850 mortgage in 1863. Check this. Okay, we gotta do some breakdown here. 3 years? Where they do that at? Cause now they want to issue us a 15-year mortgage, a 30-year mortgage. We need to be protesting. What changed? Well, we know what changed. We know about the history, but that's ain't what this story is. But ain't this crazy? He was able to. This is how loans should be. You should not be on a lifelong loan. Holla if you hear me. This don't make no sense. It should take 3 years, just like this. Pay off your house. You're done. He and his wife, Julia, raised their three children in their home on the South Side. Cool. Look, the actual ledger. Or origins in the Virginia region. Yeah, they actually still have, and I'll show you here on the next page. There's still dollar banks located in Chesapeake, Virginia, area in the Hampton Roads area. During the Civil War, many African American slaves in the battle torn Virginia region took liberation into their own hands by fleeing towards the lines of Union troops in northern states. Freedmen and women joined them on the trek north. The migration swelled the African American population in cities like Pittsburgh, which was already growing, so people traveling from Virginia to Pittsburgh. Juneteenth. Uh-oh, we just celebrated Juneteenth. Journeys towards financial freedom. Several of Dollar Bank's African American, and you can see their pictures right here. The links will be below this story. Several of Dollar Bank's African American customers in the 1860s and 1870s were emancipated former slaves. Sometimes they identified themselves as such in the biographical information they gave to the bank clerk when they opened their savings account. So, okay, because we like to connect the dots over here. Remember, we had Derek Moss on here and he was discussing genealogy. Sometimes the records could be in the banks. Ooh, so if you know where your family bank is or where they have banked, often you can find a lot of good stuff. Let's get down because I want to look at see if they what they tell about their family. Okay, y'all can read this stuff on your own. These were soldiers, pioneering professionals. You see their names. You must call their names. Let's not forget about them. Waiters who became doctors. This is so cool. Musicians. Wow. I need to get to the Woodsons. Okay. This is so cool. Um, I want to know. They have a page on here that is, hold on a second. Let me stop this share and I want to find this for you because this was something this was something I located earlier, but I didn't pull it up on my slides here. So give me just one moment and I will, because this is important to share. Okay, here we go. Because they have a full write-up on the Woodson family. Let's go back to our share. Check this. And this is on Dollar Bank about Lewis. We heard of him and his wife Carolyn. That's them. Were the patriarch and matriarch of one of the most notable African American families in early Pittsburgh. Born in Virginia, Lewis moved to Chillicothe, Ohio with his parents and siblings around 1821. There he met another Virginia native, Carolyn. Isn't that fascinating? They were both from Virginia, but they met in Ohio. That's how That's how stuff be working. The universe be working. The Woodsons moved to Pittsburgh around 1830. Both the Woodson men and women became small business entrepreneurs. Lewis, his sons, and in-laws operated 5 barber shops around downtown. Lewis was a preacher and leader at the AME church. This is, who is this a picture of? He made his living as a barber. Oh, this is James. So not Howard. Lewis and Carolyn's son, Granville, we heard about him earlier, was a Pennsylvania delegate to the National Convention of the Colored Men of America in the 1860s and 1870s and a member of the Pennsylvania State Equal Rights League. John, their eldest son, was the first. Okay, we knew about him, how he paid off the mortgage in 3 years. Yep. Jemima, oh, like Aunt Jemima, ran a millinery on 4th Street with her mother. See, all of them doing good stuff. Now, this Howard, let's check out Howard. Howard was a civil engineer who worked in D.C. after earning his engineering degree at Western University of Pennsylvania, aka University of Pennsylvania, in 1899. Woodson became a civic leader in Northeast Washington, D.C. Y'all know D.C. got the sex, like Northeast, Southeast, Northwest. A high school was named in his honor in 1972, which would have been 10 years following his death. So check this. Oh, this is what I was looking at. Oh, this the family tree. There was all dollar bank. See, this where they got the money. So when you think of a bank, yes, we may look at a bank esoterically. A bank is actually a community of money. This is what Dollar Bank is. All these banks, Wells Fargo that became established, Bank of America, the Swiss bank, that's what they are. They are a community of money and they pool that money together to help the masses. Now it all depends on what is that bank rooted in? What was their philosophy, their mission, their vision from the inception? We see what Dollar Bank wanted to do, the equal access. They were saying everybody can come. You got $1, you can come. Even during the first year of them being in existence, they allowed the black people to open an account. That's why this particular family and many others were able to build Deanwood. Look at this. Account. Look at, they got the freaking account numbers. I don't know. I get hype about this type of stuff. Account 1219. Account 3170. Second generation. Even down to the third generation. Howard, account 338147. But this shows you how many accounts were in existence. Oh, I never thought about that. Your account number may just show you how many thousands or millions of people have that account at that bank. Ooh, that's something to investigate. I don't know. I just be getting all kinds of clues. But these are the Woodson actual account signatures from 1857 and 1860. So cool. Now let's go to, because I want to show you, simply because Deanwood was built through this bank and through these generations of people and their connection with being able to get a mortgage, being able to get a loan, being able to depend on the financiers of the bank. The reason this bank is still in existence is because of its roots. Check that. But this is where their independent community bank. I want to open an account at Dollar Bank. To be honest with you, they got locations in Northeast Ohio. Check that. Oh, let me go back. Western Pennsylvania, Hampton Roads, mentioned that, and in Maryland. We know about the history. Support this bank. You might even want to work there, because this is where, dang, see, I'm trying to get me, I wonder if they do stuff online. Y'all know I'll be going, this is so cool. Okay, I'm going off on a tangent, but we got to go here for a second. Careers. Think you need to be a financial whiz to work at Dollar Bank? Think again. You just need to enjoy helping others. That was my mom. My mom started out. Now, granted, my mom had studied accounting. She began working at the bank. She worked at Sovereign, then they transitioned to Nations, and then they transitioned to Bank of America. You don't need, they trying to tell you, you don't need to know big experience. You just need to know how to do customer service, what they can do for you, training. And I know this for somebody, because sometimes when we go off on a tangent, it's for somebody listening to the story. Training and career growth, work-life balance. At Dollar Bank, this isn't a myth. It's a promise. We believe in people giving their all during working hours. Tuition reimbursement. Okay, Dollar Bank, I see you. Okay, that was point two. We talked about the look of Deanwood. How did that community establish what it looks like? Those architects, those pioneering architects, building the churches, building the chapels, building the single and the multi-family homes. The money, where did the money come from? Dollar Bank was one of the ones in the Woodson family, amongst other families. Dollar Bank's still in existence. When you open up your account, this is what I love about joining a bank, joining any organization, because a bank is an organization. It's not just a place to put your money. You are saying, I believe in this bank's mission when you put your money there, when you put your business there, when you do business there, when you open up your business account there, when you apply for your mortgage there, when you get your children's tuition paid for there. You are saying, I believe in this bank. So this is something to question. What is your bank doing for you? Are they doing what Dollar Bank did for them and is still doing? Or are you at a bank that ain't never did none for you? Maybe it's time for you to switch your bank so that you can grow roots in a new community, in a new identity. Because that's what I did. I'm about to close one of my bank accounts, and I just got a new bank account with Ameris, because Ameris, number one, I love the meaning of it, the name, and there's a strong spiritual connection to that name. When I first moved to Atlanta several years ago, 3 years ago, I saw that bank and something spoke to me about that bank. I got lost on a street, but the bank was there. I'm like, what is this bank? And I had to look it up. And from that moment, I always wanted an account with Ameris, and I just was able to open up. Let's go to point three, the fun. Let's talk about the fun, because this is how the story began in the first place, was Suburban Gardens. Looking up this amusement park, this black owned amusement park in the Deanwood area. Uh, oh, oh my goodness. I found something. Okay. I'm I'm sorry. I found something else about Suburban Gardens as I was pulling up my video. But here we go. We gonna watch this one.
For over 30 years, an amusement park in the suburbs outside of Washington, D.C. was only open to white people. So, in the 1920s, Universal Development and Loan Company, a black-owned business, decided to build a park where all were welcome. This would become Suburban Gardens, the first and only amusement park to ever operate in Washington, D.C. When it opened in 1921, Suburban Gardens cost 10 cents to enter. It had a carousel, a playground, and a dance hall. And it was successful enough to expand across its 9 acres of land, adding an airplane swing, a tilt-a-whirl, skee ball, a miniature railway, a shooting gallery, and a swimming pool. And, like every enthusiast's dream for these small parks, it was successful enough to warrant the construction of a full-sized roller coaster, the Deep Dipper. The Deep Dipper was designed by John A. Miller, the same guy who designed the classic wooden coasters at Kennywood and the classic roller coaster at Lagoon. In fact, the Deep Dipper opened around the same time as that roller coaster in Lagoon. Unfortunately, while the roller coaster in Lagoon is still operating to this day, Suburban Gardens closed in 1940. However, its legacy lives on as Washington, D.C.'s only amusement park. At this point in time, we enthusiasts can only dream that impossible dream that someday the city or a nearby amusement park will resurrect Suburban Gardens in some way. And, just like in 1921, Sometimes those impossible dreams can become a reality.
There you have it, the Deep Dipper.
This is Navon Edge.
That sounds like some roller coaster. I'm not a big roller coaster person. You may be. I do get on them from time to time. That one looked fun because it's a wooden one. I'm just not a fan, and y'all chime in the comments. Are you a fan of roller coasters? What type? As I was saying, I'm not a fan of the ones that go down and they speed from 0 to 100 miles per hour. I'm like, I'm not getting on that. The ones that flip all around. My boyfriend and people in my family, they love that type of stuff. I just don't know. I did love the Big Bad Wolf at Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, Virginia. Also enjoy. I like water rides. I wonder if they had, I know they had a carousel and they closed in 1940, the Suburban Gardens, and you were actually able to see in that clip footage of the people enjoying the park in the 20s and the 30s. So cool to me. Because we often don't hear about these things and we just think about King's Dominion or Six Flags or Disney World or Disneyland. There's actually suburban gardens, and the people of Deanwood live there. I bet you somebody watching this broadcast knows about it or has been there. Their parents, their grandparents have pictures of this. Ask, go to the local library. And this is something for you too. Whatever community you live in or you know about that was established in your area, in your city, get the history, find the history. All you got to do is start inquiring with people because they know. They know. Sometimes they may not want to open up their mouth, they may not want to tell you, but if you're serious about locating this because you're serious about connection and keeping the history alive, they'll let you know. That's the fun. Actually, give me just a moment. Y'all know me. I gotta find that other video. 'Cause for some reason, ooh, that wasn't the video. There was a 8 seconds of darkness video. Hold on. Ooh, where are you? Maybe I can't find it, but that's okay. It's not, it ain't supposed to be found today. That's okay. Y'all can do your own research. Oh, hold on. I did find it. Okay. Let's look at this. And for those of you listening, this is going to be my first time seeing this too. A lot of times I like to preview these videos, but we ain't going to do that today. We gonna watch this together for the first time. Okay, they got a pretty long intro here. I gotta scroll through some of this. Let's get to the meat. We gotta get we gotta get to the meat of the program. Dang, they got a long intro.
Hello, I'm Tyrone Bates, proud principal of the Renaissance Institute in Jersey City, New Jersey. Welcome to the 28 Days of Blackness, where we explore pivotal moments in the Black experience. Today, we step back in time to the era of segregation and highlight the historic Suburban Gardens amusement park in Washington, D.C. Established in 1921, Suburban Gardens Amusement Park stands as a significant chapter in African American history. This historic park, located in Washington, D.C., was more than just a place for entertainment. It was a cultural hub that emerged during a time of systemic discrimination and exclusion. During the era of segregation, African Americans faced pervasive discrimination and were often excluded from many public spaces, including entertainment venues. This limited access promoted the creation of independent institutions like Suburban Gardens to provide space for enjoyment and socialization. Suburban Gardens Amusement Park, born out of necessity, became a vibrant cultural center for the African American community in Washington, D.C. Architectural engineer Howard D. Woodson, among others, contributed.
Oh, let me go back. Okay, get out of my way, little thing. I want you to see a picture of Mr. Woodson. See how calming he looks. Okay, hold on.
In Washington, D.C. Architectural engineer Howard.
Look at this man. This is the one. This is the one who built Deanwood. I'm not saying he did it on his own, but it was his creativity, his intellect, his design that contributed to this area of the city. Look at him. Remember his name, speak his name, Howard Dilworth Woodson.
D. Woodson, among others, contributed to its construction, ensuring a welcoming space for joy and unity. The park was a response to the lack of inclusive entertainment options. Suburban Gardens became a landmark for cultural expression, offering rides, live music, and social events that provided a haven for African Americans to gather, celebrate, and enjoy recreational activities. Suburban Gardens played a crucial role in fostering a sense of community and pride among African Americans in Washington, D.C. It showcased performances by world-renowned African American musicians Duke Ellington and Cab Calloway, and also they hosted social events and served as a testament to the resilience and cultural contributions of the community. Unfortunately, Suburban Gardens faced financial challenges and the pressures of changing urban dynamics. In 1955, the park closed its doors, marking the end of an era. Despite its closure, Suburban Gardens remains a significant.
I want to point out that is an edit because the previous report said 1940. My guess is this. They stopped full operation in 1940, but then closed in 1950. There was a period of 15 years where they just did not, they didn't operate at full capacity, because this is something to think about with some structures in your community. I know in Richmond, the Richmond Coliseum, they've been trying to figure out what to do with that building, but they'll use it every now and then. But when I was growing up, they used to have concerts there all the time, but the city is still there. It's still sitting in the center of the city.
Significant historical landmark representing the resilience and cultural contributions of the African American community during a challenging period in history. As we reflect on Suburban Gardens Amusement Park, we celebrate its legacy as a cultural oasis that emerged from a challenging era in history. Its story reminds us of the importance of creating spaces for joy and unity, even in the face of adversity. The creation of Suburban Gardens prompts us to always respond to the call of action due to adversity. When we are excluded and not included, it is important for us to rely on ourselves and support ourselves and creating spaces that support ourselves and one another where we can be free without asking any questions, without asking for permission. So just as we came together in DC for the Suburban Gardens Project, we must continue to come together in any endeavor where we are not excluded, when we are excluded based on racial identity or cultural makeup. So we take from the annals of the Suburban Gardens, from the ancestors, and we call ourselves into action both politically, socially, economically, and recreationally. Join us next time as we continue to uncover the untold stories that shape the 28 Days of Blackness. I am Tyrone Bates, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, 28 Days of Blackness and Tyrone. You heard it. The building happens. I don't fully agree with him on that because he's making the point that we build out of the need because we're being excluded. That's not true. Black folk have always built because we're creative. Like, it's not because somebody is being racist towards us or saying you can't eat at this counter. We already had the stuff. We had the stuff before they even came. Read the book. They came before Columbus or any other thing. Y'all know we've been here. So, there ain't nothing to debate. But either way, this is our story today, all about how Deanwood was built. You saw what happened with this community in terms of the architecture, in terms of the bank, Dollar Bank, regarding Howard Dilward Woodson, Suburban Gardens, and our charge here on News and Views. Look at your community. What history can you propel forward? Can you stand on the foundation and begin to build something great all your own? For you, for your family, for your people, for your community, for the future. Because many times we're not just building for now, we're building for the future. That has been another edition of News and Views. We will see you next time. Peace.